Do you feel like, as humans, we're constantly searching for meaning?
Yes, and it's understandable. I think life is very hard, and I think having, like, there being a meaning to all of this makes it, like, a little bit easier. I've also been, not a victim to this, but, like, you know, when you're like, oh, it's a sign, and it definitely wasn't a sign, but you just want to make it seem or fit. So, yeah.
How do you know it definitely wasn't a sign?
It wasn't.
But she broke my heart. I'm taking it.
It wasn't. It was just something that I was hoping was a sign, and then looking back, I'm like, it's clearly not a sign. I think when we're doing something, we want it to have a meaning naturally. Like, we don't want to do something for no reason.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, the same applies to life.
Yeah, but I agree with that, but I think that's, again, back to purpose. I feel like the meaning, it's like if you're looking for meaning, you're looking for purpose. I feel like no matter what you say, you can't run from purpose. Purpose is always going to exist because of the fact that without purpose, you have no meaning.
People's purpose drives them to do right or wrong. Do you feel like right or wrong is natural or learned?
Like, oh God, we could be here forever. Like, I think, like, right and wrong is a matter of circumstance and perspective. And honestly, like, I do believe it is more of a grey area than we think things to be. I think we put too much stock in answers and binaries when largely life and life's big answers doesn't come in a binary.
I would say, yeah, there is right and wrong. And I feel like, going to the question, a lot of the times, wrong can be learned because someone could, you know, see, I don't know, their parents fighting every day and see how maybe their dad treats their mum or their mum treats their dad or whatever, and that's something they pick up, which is why they can unlearn it by maybe going to therapy or maybe going to church or maybe going to pray, whatever it is that they do to find that kind of like meaning of change, you know what I mean? So I feel like right and wrong does exist because you can do wrong and you can do right, and someone that does wrong can do right, someone that does right can do wrong. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like it's just like a circumstantial thing, but I don't feel like it doesn't completely exist because it does exist. Like if I do something, it's like if I do something wrong now, I'll get in trouble for it. Like if I just started smashing glasses everywhere, that's not, you can't be like, oh yeah, but someone else can say that's right, but that's wrong, fully. Everyone can identify the difference between what I've just done.
I think if you like just went and smashed all these glasses, depends on the circumstance in which you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but in this circumstance though.
So inherently, yes.
Yeah, you see? But what circumstance could it be right unless you're at bar mitzvah and you're smashing plates?
Yeah, bar mitzvahs, weddings. If you're in Greece, they smash plates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'm talking more in the sense of
right or wrong morally.
Right or wrong morally, directly being able to identify it. Like if you were sat here with your kids, for example, and you just see me smashing glass, your kids will be scared. You will be scared. You'll be like, what's going on? It's wrong. You know what I mean? If you call the police, but I'll be arrested because I'm
public disorder.
Oh, you know. Yeah, so it's like we know what right and wrong is, and I feel like what you're saying is true because, yeah, depending on the circumstance, but that's a cop-out in my opinion because we can't say, in a wedding or a bar mitzvah in Greece because, of course, that wouldn't be a right or wrong situation. But in this particular situation, I feel like it would be wrong, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think that concept of right or wrong has been handed to you by Christianity, or is that something you inherently believe in?
I'm a Christian, but I'm open-minded. I'm not someone that's like super religious and focused on just da-da-da-da-da. But I wouldn't say, oh yeah, because I'm a Christian, right and wrong was handed to me, because an atheist knows what right and wrong is. A child, when they steal a cookie and you say, where's the cookie? They know that that was wrong. Do you know what I mean? Before they even become socially aware to become a Christian, they would hide the cookie under the chair and they're like, I didn't take the cookie. They've learned to lie. They've learned to do all these things. And I feel like that's because of things that they've seen and learned, if that makes sense. And as a parent, you teach them and say, next time you take the cookie, that's wrong. So I feel like, I don't think it's necessarily to do with being a Christian.
So opening it out to everybody, I feel like religious texts have developed how we live to a degree in today's society. So would you say that they're outdated now?
I was a Christian, and then I went on a journey of deconstructing. I still very much align with a lot of Christian values, but there are some things that I don't agree with. And one example is that there's only one way to heaven. Do you believe that as a Christian? Because that's your beliefs, right? there's only one way to heaven. Because this is the thing. If you're speaking from a Christian perspective, you would think that being a different religion is wrong, technically. And I didn't agree with that. And so I think right or wrong, definitely comes down to perspective.
Do you feel like you can be a Christian and not be religious? Do you feel like you have to be a Christian, believe in God and be super religious to the point where...
Not super religious, but I think if you're going to call yourself a Christian, you should be practicing. Or that's not just even Christian, that's for any religion. Like, if you're going to call yourself that, you should be practicing.
Do you feel like that's fair to say because no one is perfect? I feel like...
No.
You saying if you're a Christian, you should be practicing is unfair because...
No.
Everyone's imperfect.
I didn't say you have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be practicing, which just means you have to just be trying. Of course, you're not going to be perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can be born a Christian.
Yeah, I was born a Christian.
You was born a Christian?
Yeah.
What, you know, I know you're deconstructing and you're confused. What's made you...
She's not confused.
No, I'm going off her words. I'm not saying she is confused. What made you come off that journey and be happy with being confused?
Just because so there's just certain things that I don't agree with. Like, I still align with a lot of the things. I think naturally when I've born into it, it's part of me at this point. But certain things like there's only one way to heaven, for example. If there is a heaven, I don't even know at this point. I'm just here. But if there is a heaven, there's only one way to heaven, which I think is like, think about it like it's through belief. Like, if you're not a believer, but you're still an amazing person, technically through the values, you won't make it to heaven. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
What rubs you the wrong way about that?
When you look at trends globally, where you are on the globe basically determines your religion a lot of the time. Obviously, not all of the time. But if, for example, I was in Saudi Arabia, it's very likely that I would be like a Muslim. Or if I was in, for example, India, it's likely I'd be Hindu. So it's like, I find it kind of unfair to say that like there's only one way to heaven. Your beliefs are kind of not a trend, but it can be predicted by where you are in the world.
And it could also be like given to you upon birth, like blind religion.
Exactly.
And also religion, it can be circumstantial.
Exactly.
Because I was born a Catholic.
Right.
I didn't choose to be Catholic. My parents just took me to church every Sunday and my grandma was like, let's do the rosary.
Right.
It was not my choice.